see if Brew agrees. League MVP. Ooh. This year. I'm talking about this. He's his sophomore. I think he could be league MVP this year.
I was going to take it a step further. Ceiling, MVP, Super Bowl.
Stefon Diggs becoming a Texan is the cherry on top of an impressive offseason haul for Houston. He joins a very exciting young team that will now be a popular pick as favorites to win the AFC South and, potentially, the Super Bowl. What does his signing mean for CJ Stroud? And how scary will the Texans be in 2024? Let's find out. The Houston Texans are following the perfect blueprint of how to build a contender. Their ability to pick up studs at the most important positions on rookie contracts has opened up a Super Bowl window that looks like it could be open for a while. Quarterbacks make or break teams in the NFL, and in CJ Stroud, the Texans have got the golden ticket. He delivered on his potential in dramatic fashion as a rookie in 2023, already playing as a top 10 quarterback, but at a fraction of the price. Alongside him, you have Nico Collins and Tank Dell, who also delivered in fine fashion last year, both on rookie contracts. Dell was well on his way to 1,000 yards as a rookie in 2023 before he broke his leg in Week 13. Nico Collins exploded in his third season with the team, posting 1,297 yards and 8 touchdowns, which was more than his first 2 seasons combined. Both he and Dell thrived with Stroud under center, setting up an offensive core that is amongst the best in the NFL, especially now that Diggs has been added into the mix. On the other side of the ball, Will Anderson Jr. is the pillar of the defense, joining the Texans 1 pick after Stroud was taken in the 2023 NFL Draft. He had 7 sacks, 46 tackles, and 14 quarterback hits as a rookie, earning himself the Defensive Rookie of the Year award and justifying the Texans' decision to trade up for him. He got a grade of 81 from PFF in 2023, just like his fellow defensive star, sophomore cornerback Derek Stingley Jr., whose 5 interceptions were tied for second most in the league. In Stroud, Collins, Dell, Anderson, and Stingley, the Texans have filled 4 of the NFL's most important positions with talented players on cheap rookie deals. It has been a masterclass in scouting and roster construction, allowing them to splash the cash on some very exciting signings this offseason. Of course, Diggs is the biggest name to come into the team, and we will discuss a bit more about him shortly. First, though, let's take a look at their other additions. Joe Mixon comes in to add a veteran presence at the running back position, taking over from Devin Singletary and leading a backfield that also has third-year running back Dameon Pierce. Mixon was a top 10 running back in yards and touchdowns in 2023, and whilst he might be getting on in age a bit, he is certainly an upgrade and a very useful asset. He is also a talented pass catcher, giving Stroud yet more weapons in the passing game. Houston's offense was strong in 2023, and these additions make them one of the most exciting units in the NFL. It was the defense where there was the most room for improvement for the Texans, and they have made some very sensible signings so far to solidify that side of the ball. Danielle Hunter comes in as one of the most high-profile defensive free agents available, signing a 2-year, $49 million deal after spending 8 productive years with the Vikings. Hunter has hit double-digit sacks in 4 of his last 5 seasons, culminating in a career-best 16.5 sacks last year, which was 5th in the NFL. Texans fans have to be thrilled to have him lining up on the opposite end of the defensive line to Will Anderson Jr. Danico Autry is another double-digit sack player being added to the defensive line, with Azeez Al-Shaair bolstering the linebacker group. Al-Shaair thrived under D'Amico Ryans in San Francisco, and his 163 tackles last year were 5th most in the NFL. He adds more exciting talent at the heart of the Texans' defense. With Ryan's expertise added into the mix, these changes should bring great improvements to this defensive unit, helping Houston become a much more dangerous and well-rounded team. As exciting as all these signings are, the real star of the show is CJ Stroud, last year's rookie sensation. Stroud was electric in his first year in the NFL, announcing his arrival with a 384-yard, 2-touchdown performance in a Week 2 loss against Indianapolis. He followed this up with a 280-yard and 2-touchdown performance against Jacksonville and another 300-yard, 2-touchdown effort against Pittsburgh, which were both victories. Stroud's first interception didn't come until week 6, by which point he had already thrown for 1,461 yards and 7 touchdowns. This, unsurprisingly, set a new record for most passes to begin a career without an interception, with Stroud's 192 passes smashing the previous best of 176 set by Dak Prescott. He then went on to set another NFL record by throwing for an all-time rookie-high 470 yards and 5 touchdowns against Tampa Bay, including an ice-cold final-minute drive to win the game. This drive featured a stunning sideline dime to Dell before finding his fellow rookie again at the back of the end zone with just 6 seconds left on the clock. It was elite quarterbacking from Stroud, with the Texans rookies proving that they could thrive in pressure moments just fine. This kind of excellent quarterbacking was on display all year long, with Stroud combining his fantastic arm with composure and footballing IQ well beyond his years. He was progressing through reads, making the right decisions, and throwing with anticipation better than many veteran quarterbacks, resulting in one of the best rookie seasons we have ever seen. His 4,108 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions were good enough to make him the clear winner of the Offensive Rookie of the Year award, whilst also breaking countless franchise rookie records. The question now is whether he can back it up. The Offensive Rookie of the Year award is a nice accolade to have, but Stroud finds himself in the rare position of piloting a Super Bowl contender as a sophomore. The front office has given him the best wide receiver room in the NFL and a talented veteran running back who is featured in a Super Bowl. This team is ready to compete, and CJ Stroud's ability to back up his strong rookie season will make or break the team's success. There is no reason to think that he won't, but pressure and expectation can produce weird outcomes. Last year, Houston were the plucky underdogs who punched above their weight and had everyone rooting for them. This year, they will enter the season as favorites to win the AFC South and a popular pick to rival Kansas City and Baltimore for the AFC crown. They have everything they need to come good on that expectation. But nothing is guaranteed in the NFL. The trade for Stefon Diggs is the ultimate sign of confidence from a team that believes they are ready to compete. Their ability to swing for a star veteran playmaker is because of their success in building such a young and talented roster. Diggs is the cherry on top of an offense that could be the most exciting in the whole of the NFL. Not only does he add invaluable experience to a young and up-and-coming wide receiver room, but he has also been one of the most productive wide receivers in recent years. Diggs has surpassed 1,000 yards in each of his last 6 seasons, catching at least 100 balls and 8 touchdowns in each of his last 4 for Buffalo. That is elite consistency and alpha dominance, making him a no-brainer of a move for Houston. It would be wrong to gloss over the fact that his production did dip after Joe Brady took over offensive coordinator duties in Buffalo, but he will be undertaking a very different role in Houston. In Buffalo, Diggs was the #1 receiver, with only Gabe Davis offering another true threat downfield. In Houston, Diggs will benefit from playing with 2 very talented receivers in Nico Collins and Tank Dell, greatly reducing the pressure on him to dominate in an alpha role. Collins took a major step forward in his 3rd season in the NFL. He offers an imposing 6'4" frame that makes him an ideal target for Stroud, but he combines this with excellent agility, route running, and run after the catch ability that is worthy of making him the #1 receiver in the offense. Obviously, Diggs has the accolades and resume to suggest that he should be the #1 option for Stroud, but Collins' skill set shouldn't be underestimated, and his presence will make it much easier for Diggs to produce. Whether Diggs is the alpha or the 1B to Collins' 1A, there is no doubt that he is in a much better situation from a coverage perspective this year. It might be a little controversial to say that Stroud is an upgrade at quarterback when compared to Josh Allen, but there's no doubt Diggs does have a far superior group of wide receivers playing alongside him. The former Buffalo star wide receiver will surely find more space down the field, playing with the likes of Nico Collins and Tank Dell. That wasn't the case in Buffalo, with Diggs constantly facing the defense's #1 coverage corner on every rep. He might get a few fewer targets than he did in Buffalo, but he should still expect to make plenty of impactful plays. All in all, things are looking pretty good for Houston. Diggs elevates this offense to one of the best in the NFL, and the outlook for Stroud's development couldn't be better. There is a very real chance that his Offensive Rookie of the Year award gets upgraded to an MVP at some point in the next couple of years, and the Super Bowl window is now wide open for Houston. Not only does the trade put the Texans firmly in the running, but it also weakens an AFC contender in the Buffalo Bills. The second rounder they are getting in return for Diggs is in the 2025 draft, which means they won't be using it to find a replacement in this year's loaded class. With Buffalo also shedding lots of other talent due to their cap issues, the Texans are looking like one of the 3 best teams in the AFC as it stands. They also benefit from a division that currently has a lot of question marks hanging over it. The Indianapolis Colts clearly have a talented roster after falling just short of the playoffs without their rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson, but the fact remains that we still have to wait and see if he turns into the future of the franchise. Jacksonville have their quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, but they crumbled in embarrassing fashion to close out the 2023 season and have only managed 9-8 records from their last 2 seasons with him at quarterback. The last team is the Tennessee Titans, who would require a miraculous sophomore leap from Will Levis to be able to put up a challenge to Houston. The fact of the matter is, Houston are in a great position to go back-to-back in the AFC South and put it up to AFC juggernauts Kansas City and Baltimore. The offense, which was already electric in 2023, has been elevated further by the additions of Diggs and Mixon, and sensible signings on defense suggest real improvements could be made there as well. There is no denying it, the Houston Texans are scary. What do you think the 2024 season holds for them? Let me know in the comments section.